out of it. And again, not lubed up. I'm gonna leave that off because I don't do sprints anymore. All right, now at that point, I'm really ready to head out on the bike. I've already gone through the transition of putting that helmet on. I know I can put it on very easily, quickly, and I'm snapped. If you wear glasses or sunglasses, which sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, depends. I'm not going to today. But just make sure you get all that in and out. But again, my shin strap, way too loose. I would be tightening it up. All right, I'm ready to go out on the bike. Anthony's got a dismount line. Two different ways. You can go ahead and put your bike shoes on, clippity-clop, like Mr. Ed. Now the one thing is that dismount line, you do not get on that bike. Your butt does not hit that saddle until both wheels are completely clear of that line. Look up, make sure you don't have anybody. You want to try to stay away from the crowd because a lot of times people, especially other people, might be unstable. I've seen people plop both in and out. So you want to have it, look for a clear space to shoot out. Now when I do my mount, if I was in a real rough area, I'd go ahead and put my shoes on, clop, 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 get across the finish line, start out and head on out. Well, in this case, my shoes are already on. Typically, my shoes never come off the bike, especially on a sprint and Olympic. Less so for a half iron or a full iron. So as I come off, it's just a really one simple mode, and I'm ready to go. I'm going to push that bike out. Now I'm going to do a real quick mount. Now you'll notice shoes are open. They're really ready to go. As I'm running, the reason why that shoe is in that position is because when I'm going to mount, I'm not going to do a flying mount. I racked myself once and that was enough to swear off that. So I do kind of a semi-running mount where it's all one motion. I'll plant my foot right on the top of that shoe, start pushing, leg comes over, and then I'm pedaling with my feet on top of the pedals. Now it depends on the setup. If I was having to come out here, out of this boathouse, and going uphill, I would not probably insert my feet into the pedals until I got to the top. So I'm going to be quad only, pushing up that hill until I get to a flat area. I want a flat area to slide my feet into the pedals. I don't want to sit there and try to slide my feet into the pedals, trying to go uphill, probably lose speed. Next thing you know, when you lose speed, if you lose too much, clop. You don't want to do something there. Don't try this. Practice this before you ever try to do it. Don't try to. I'm going to try doing that, and it's the first time you ever done it in a race. Never do anything new on race day. So just real quickly, I'll run through this, and then it's just the exact same thing coming back. I'll show you both. How long did you keep your feet out of pedals? It might depend. Sometimes I may go a little bit extra long just to dry my feet out. If my feet are really wet, I'm going to make sure my feet are dry before I insert my feet in the pedals. Nothing worse than putting wet feet, because I'm not going to use that towel. I don't dry my feet off. I use, just the wind as I'm pedaling, to dry my feet out. Once they're dry, feet go in, and the same thing coming back. We all have a tendency to sweat, or our feet get, wet on the bike. Same thing. It depends. It may be a couple hundred yards out at least. It may be a half mile out. I'll pull those feet out just to dry them out, because I want to hit that run when I make that transition and switching into shoes. I want dry feet, because wet feet going into shoes basically equals blisters typically. So on just real quickly, I'll do kind of an easy one. I'm running along, and as I hit, both wheels have passed. I'm down, plant the foot, and then off. And I'll just drop my gear. Ha! How about that? I must have. Sorry about that. Not having a good transition tonight. Somebody is mechanical issue. All right. Now, one thing I didn't do before I went out was respin my wheels just to make sure that everything was fine and I'd already dropped off the gear, or off the back cog, so I was in trouble right off the bat. Had to stop, and you just saw I just lost time. So make sure that everything's going. Now coming back in, it's the same thing, just in reverse. My feet are out of the pedals. I've come down to a comfortable speed that I know I can run. Coming off, swing through, stop. Don't even have to stop, but I'm off that bike before I hit that blue line. Coming back in, just the opposite. Handlebars are gonna go easier. No sense to rack by the tire. Helmet comes off. In this particular case, since my run bib is off, run bib, number goes in front. Shoes, matter of personal preference. Typically, something with lace locks. For 25 cents, you can go to Walmart and do cheap lace locks. Or a lot of shoes nowadays, you'll find try specific shoes with lace locks already on. Just a real simple one motion, no need to sit down. Hat, bib's ready to go if you have any fluid or hydration to take care of, be it E-caps, hammer gel, whatever. Again, have that nutrition plan. I'm ready to go. The run out is down this end, and so I'm all ready to go. At the same time, I'm banging my splits. Don't forget to do that. And out on the run course. And that's basically transition. And that's how you get in and out. Next thing you know, you're either going to run 5K, you're going to run 10K, you're going to run 13.1 or 26.2. Bottom line is just know the course. Know your transition, know your in and outs, have everything set up. Make sure you don't have a mechanical issue. I just showed you it can happen to, you think you got everything. You don't want your, I've seen it where tires are flat, that, roll it in, but that's the last thing you want to check is maybe even just something just as a, a quick, check, because you'll hear tires every once in a while pop, the morning of a race, and it's like, is that my bike or is that somebody else's? And you're hoping it's somebody else's. So just make sure, but again, when you're in that, if you're not rubber banded up, make sure that rolls, make sure your front wheel rolls, and the reason being, because I had a gal at Texas Motor Speedway hit my bike, and I really wasn't paying attention, didn't think anything about it, but she knocked my brake calipers into the wheel, didn't notice it, and when I went out on a race, came back in, I'm averaging 17 miles an hour, and I'm thinking, it's the first time I've ridden this bike, and I thought, what a piece of crap. And then after the race, when I went to go home, I put it down and started to push the bike, and the bike wouldn't even push. And so I had to brake on for 16 miles. So you don't want to go through something like that. So make sure everything's freewheeling. Make sure that everything is down tight. That it's not flopping around. Everything's good. You got your fluid. Just don't have a checklist. If anything, I mean there's checklists online. And everybody's going to be a little bit different on what they're going to take. My nutrition plan is not going to work for you. I wouldn't even suggest it to anybody. But just make sure that you know how much for a race. I mean, I have a little formula I work very loose, but it's a no-brainer. If I'm going out on a bike, I'll take 1 fluid ounce per mile on fluid. And if when I'm out on the run, I'll take 3 fluid ounces. Now it's going to vary depending on conditions. 50-degree day is going to be different than a 90-degree day. So that's what your training gets involved on, is what you can tolerate stomach-wise. Do not try anything new on your nutrition. But have some type of basic plan. Keep it simple, stupid. And, the more complicated you make it, it's going to probably make it a more complicated race where you're trying to overthink things. Don't. Try to make it simple where you're not having to think, where it becomes second nature. Anymore, when I check in, do all this stuff, I'm not even having to think about it. It just comes naturally, other than starting to damn wash. I keep forgetting to do that. But everything else should become, just walk through it, time over, that's one of the things we don't practice. We practice the swim, we practice the bike, we practice the run, but just this simple thing, just 50 yards, especially in a sprint's critical. You don't want to spend 4 minutes on an event that's going to take you an hour, where it should only take you about 30 seconds to be in and out on both ends. Any questions? I don't know where Katie is. There she is back here. Okay.
We want to make sure we do.
She's never gonna come.
What's that?
Talk nutrition first before we all hit the water.
Yeah.
Talk nutrition first.
I'm going to say, if you want to try it a couple times or have any questions, and just kind of go through what I just did. This would be your bike in, bike out. And then on the other end would be your run in, run out. Just kind of, if anything, you don't have to do it fast, but if you want to just try to give it a practice go, give it a shot. In other words, set up like you were just coming in off the swim, then all of a sudden just start. So again, just real simple. You ready? I'm not going to rubber band up, but it's not going to take me more than a few seconds. So I suggest you guys might want to try the same if you want to try to do a quick transition on your own.
So we've got a transition line. There are a couple of cones out there just to keep things safe. When you do go over transition and get on your bike, stay to the right. And there's a second set of cones to turn around. And stay to the right coming back.